Welcome to the Dr. G
Hi,
Show.
everyone. We're live.
We're live.
We're live
It's
on
alive.
the Dr. G Show. So we're going to do like Ellen. Guess what we're talking about today?
What are we talking about?
We're getting into your head. We're gonna get in your head.
So this is the Dr. G Show. This is episode 176, and we're going to talk about the pineal gland. So your pineal gland.
You're just gonna go right into it.
No. All right. So
Okay, we are gonna get into the pineal gland. It's pronounced a lot of different ways.
how do you pronounce it?
Pineal.
Pineal. Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I'm trying to think of another way to pronounce it, but no. All right. So welcome you guys to the Dr. G
Welcome.
Show. I'm Dr. Garrett. Glad to see you guys. Today we're on location at Suzanne's place, which is a lot more appealing and more comfortable than my office.
Well, your office is comfortable.
I know, but it's not the
It's
same.
workspace. This is lounge workspace.
That's right.
There's two reasons to live here.
So then we have our special guest, Suzanne Blockett.
Hi everyone.
And so today she wanted to talk about pineal gland, which I'm going to let her lead it a little bit today because I'm more like kind of hard science and like just kind of nerd stuff a lot of times. And so Suzanne is just like kind of like, what'd you call it? Like,
I'm kind of into a lot of stuff.
yeah.
You know, I dabble in lots of things. One of my sayings is that I believe in nothing so I can believe in everything. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So I'm gonna log into Dr. Garrett live myself. So
woohoo, we're
there
live.
you go.
All right, so as you guys have questions, make sure to kind of post on there. I see Heather's on here already. If you guys
Hey,
have
Heather.
questions as we go through, this is going to be, it's going to be a little bit different than what we usually do on the Dr. G Show because typically I just pick a health topic and we talk about that. But sometimes we do food ingredients, that kind of stuff. But this one is going to be a little bit different direction, which will be interesting. So I want to hear y'all's thoughts and y'all's questions with this too, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Thank you.
All right. So
You know, there's a lot of things like even with Wise Women ICT, we kind of infused some of this into that as well because when we're living life, we don't sometimes understand what's going on in here, and what's going on in our heart, and how our body's responding to all of that, and how
it all
really we're uneducated
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And it also goes, it really connects to what Dr. Garrett does because he's trying to tell us if we do certain things, all of this other stuff works effortlessly, like it's supposed to.
Right. Yeah.
So
Create normal and things just work.
that's right.
And this is, that's funny because you were saying that like, I think I read somewhere that, or someone said that people typically know more about their car engine than they know about their bodies, and most people don't know anything about car engines. And so we, like this thing, like this organism we have that's all these physiological pathways and hormones and neurotransmitters, and like we kind of feel like we're the victim of circumstances a lot of times with our body.
Oh, all the time.
But the reality is it's designed to work, right? All these glands are designed to work. All our chemistry is designed to work. All our genetics is designed to work. But as Americans, we tend to be very unhappy because we're not doing the things we need to make them work. And so knowing how things work, know what we do to mess it up, and then we know how to fix things by stop doing that. So that's our whole goal with functional lifestyle medicine. But you have to know how that stuff works first, right? So you have to become aware of that stuff before you can ever change anything. So the pineal gland is one of those glands that is kind of like, the pituitary is the master gland. That kind of hangs down, looks like two testicles hanging off the brain. And that's the master gland. But actually above that is the hypothalamus. That's the master gland of the master gland, right? So it's kind of like the master gland, the pituitary is like the husband. And he's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm in charge, right?
Or
But-
trying to be.
Right. But it's really the hypothalamus behind the pituitary that is telling the pituitary what to do to lead, right? And then on the back side of that, you have that pineal gland, and pineal gland doesn't really get a whole lot of talk compared to pituitary, adrenals.
Adrenals are big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hot topic with the doctors.
But pineal, and you're the one that told me this, but I noticed in a lot of literature it actually just calls it the third eye. So you were saying that it's called the third eye in Egyptian culture?
Oh my gosh, like thousands of years ago. Well, I recently watched a video, and you know, if you ever want to, and I know, it's grow, little sprout.
It's grow.
Yeah, mine says life is good.
Wow.
Little yoga stick person.
After you grow, life is good. Okay.
Good job.
Where'd you get those from?
Oh, I'm just around. You know, I've carried them around for a while now. Everywhere I go.
That's not an answer. She's hiding her
I
sources
like them.
for cool stuff.
That's funny.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was
so the
what
third
was I
eye.
saying? Oh, the third eye.
Third eye.
So like the video that I watched, it talks about thousands of years ago, y'all. We have like this massive, you know, these science labs and things that, you know, are high tech stuff that research this. We have PET scans and brain scans and
Functional MRIs.
Yeah, MRIs. So thousands of years ago, the Egyptians already knew about the third eye.
How do they know about this? That's the real question.
I guess I need to do more research on that because I have no idea, and I don't think the scientists really know either.
Yeah.
I really don't think anybody has an answer for us, but we'll check it out. And if anybody has a moment to look it up and see if they can find out anything, that'd be awesome.
Like we little Wikipedia research there.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
And hi, Jessica. No, that's Jessica.
Yeah.
So our setup today is a little different. So we're a little further away from the camera.
And we're old,
and I'm
so we have
trying
to
trying to
read.
keep up here. And in a second, I need to share this so everybody knows we're on right now. So we share it live.
Yeah. How many of you guys
let me
know
get it
about the
real quick.
pineal gland? And then do you guys know about like the third eye and all that? That's all like I don't know. I don't think they taught us that really in school, in grad school, but
oh, in your studies?
yeah, you know, because it's always just matter of fact stuff. It's just not really how everything interacts in this kind of web of physiology, but more of just what do you need to know. So what hormones does it make, what releasing, what inhibition, and that's kind of it.
Okay, and y'all, please share if you get a chance to. So when I think what I really enjoy out of this neuroscience that I'm embarking on, which is, you know, really above my head, a lot of it. So you'll just have to bear with me, make sure I'm using these terms right. But a couple, 2.5 months ago, I was experiencing a lot of life stuff, and I just made a decision one day. I was like, I'm just, you know, we have ailments and we have things that come up from emotional stress, functional lifestyle, all kinds of different things. And I just made a decision one day. I'm like, I can't let that stuff affect my body anymore. And I made a decision. Bam. And I meditate. I do that regularly. And hey, is that Rachel?
Rachel.
Hey, Rachel. So we do this regularly, right? Or I do this regularly. I started walking way more than I used to, like sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3. I kind of overdid it. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So when that process happened, I started explaining it to my friends about how I was doing this, and they're like, "How are you doing this?" And you know, our tribe, we have lots of therapists in our tribe.
Yes.
Doctors, therapists.
Why is that?
New
Why is all our
Agers,
friends
meditations. I don't know.
That's really weird.
It
Yeah,
is weird.
it's
We're
true.
gonna have to figure that out.
My right tribe is all a bunch of psychologists, therapists, social workers, marriage, family therapists.
And open-minded, like-minded. We're just really trying to live a really good life. I mean, that's really seriously from my heart. I mean, I think we're all trying to do the same thing.
Maybe they have files on us.
We need a new show. Dr. G Files.
Dr. G Files.
Okay, so anyway, I got into this, right? And people were asking me, how did you do that? And I was like, I don't know how I do. I don't know how I do it. I've been doing it. And so a friend of mine, a friend of ours, Sherilyn Dalkey, who is also a therapist in our tribe, go to her website, check out her website. She's really, she's just adorable. She introduced me to a Dr. Dispenza. I think I mentioned this couple of episodes ago. And he actually is kind of in the crossroads of the quantum physics, neuroscience, epigenetics, just lifestyle, meditation, all of those things that are coming together. And I've been listening to him, and he is explaining exactly what I did. It was amazing to me. So I just have been listening to him ever since, and I'm just like, you know what, this is really time for this. We really all need to hear these things that he's saying. He travels all around the world now. You can find him on YouTube. I'll post a link. What's YouTube? You know, everything about life. So really, when that started happening for me, I just got more and more interested and started investigating it, and how I think even my looks have changed, my attitude has changed, and what his main thing he says is, you have to decide if you need to change your personality. Change your personality to move into a different reality. How about that?
I like that.
I like that too. And basically you're observing yourself, and this is what Wise Women we were trying to get across, is that you observe yourself and you figure out what's good in your life, what's not, what can be better, or what can be a greater experience or a happier experience, or it could be anything. Just make a decision to do that and find out how to do that.
Right.
And it's exactly what you're doing and have been doing for years, is that functional medicine is part of this, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had time to go over your notes or not.
No, I did not.
So that's the preface to why we're talking about this today, because it is so powerful.
So life-changing kind of stuff. Like
life-changing stuff.
Empowering you.
Alejandra and Jess.
To know.
Hello. How do we want to pronounce this today so everybody gets it?
Piso?
The pineal.
Oh, pineal.
Pineal gland. Okay, we're going to call it the pineal gland.
Yeah.
Pineal.
Pineal. You gotta say it like a Texan.
So pineal.
You go to the pineal gland.
Yeah, you just get me around my friends from Oklahoma, and it's just over with.
Oklahoma.
You just gotta hang in there with me. But okay, so let's start talking about what the pineal gland does, and you go ahead and you start that. Right there.
So all glands secrete, right?
Yes.
So basically it's hormonal kind of controls. So, you know, you have like your pituitary that controls your water balance, kind of how much you urinate, your thyroid, your fertility. But on the back side, you have the pineal gland, and one of its major functions is melatonin. And melatonin we often think of for sleep, but melatonin is not sleep. Melatonin is circadian rhythm, and it relates to the dark and light of the changing day, right? So GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, is what actually puts you to sleep. So GABA, like valerian root. But melatonin.
Did you say valerian root?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a root, and you can take that. You can get it at the natural food stores.
It's awesome.
And it is awesome.
But with melatonin, this is one problem, right? So melatonin regulates circadian rhythms. You are just all rhythm. That's all you are. Energy. So a lot of times we don't feel like we're on kind of like in sync with the world, in sync with other people, But that rhythm of how long it takes from food to go from mouth to anus, or how your heart beats, or how you go from kind of like beta waves and delta waves to alpha waves to wake up and during your wake and sleep cycle. Everything, all your hormones, reproductive cycles, your metabolism, everything is driven from this very basic circadian rhythm, which is also regulated through some bizarre aspects of the moon, which is weird, and night and day, which is weird, right? So like you can have women that work together and their menstrual cycles will sync up their circadian rhythms together, and that's why
Don't say it.
I just started my period too. Did you start your period? I just started my period. It was on my knee though, because I fell down and my knee started its period today. So I think it's syncing up with my friends.
Okay.
Is that too far? Did I go too far?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. We'll see if everybody stays with us here.
Every time my girls get injured, I'm always like, your elbow just started its period.
Oh, well.
They think it's funny.
They probably do think
dad
it's funny.
It's dad funny.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
Okay, only you could say that to them, probably.
So
I would stick with that.
This then becomes a gland that regulates everything from like your mood to sleep to your responses to your emotions. Like it's kind of an overlooked gland for such a powerful effect of whether we feel our best, look our best, or are falling apart. So serotonin, which again only 5% is really in the brain, 95% is carried on platelets that make bone to make us stronger, so we have osteoporosis or weak bones, and we repair things. But basically, kind of mood and sleep, and that's your rhythm for everything.
Right. So, and in addition to that, I mean, it does all of those things, but we have to remember that when you, let's see, I have a picture I'm going to show you in a minute of the brain, the actual brain function of where the pineal gland is. Pineal.
Where the pineal, get that okie in there. Pineal gland. Eat some pumpkin pie with the pineal gland. All right.
And so what happens is, you sleep, your melatonin is activated. So there's actually some photographs that actually show throughout the day how the melatonin starts subsiding. So when you wake up in the morning and you open your eyes and the light comes into the retina, which is very similar in shape. Yes, it is. It's very similar in shape to the pineal gland. So when the light goes in there, there's actually, from a profile view, there is a location where that light travels back through the retina and starts activating the pineal gland.
Yeah.
And so what happens is there's like quite a bit of, it's surrounded with water and crystals, and what they call it is the piezoelectric properties.
Yeah.
And it starts vibrating, and it emanates this like incredible array of colors, every rainbow color you can imagine. Once that happens, and they call that rainbow effect the piezoilluminescence. Say that 3 times.
Is that Piezo-Illuminati kind of stuff? I was so thinking I was not going to get that word right. All right.
Piezoluminescence.
A piezoluminescence.
Hi, Trudy. It's piezoluminescence.
Hey,
and
Mona
the
Povera Bambina.
piezochromism.
Okay.
So once that light starts happening and it activates that pineal gland, then the melatonin starts subsiding. And the pineal gland is what tells the rest of your body to be happy and normal function activities, the whole 9 yards. So what I'm going to suggest, and this is what I've been doing for years, but more so lately, is before I open my eyes, I do even a mantra or meditation or whatever you want to do, but what I've been doing lately is I am ready to receive, and whatever that is. And then as I open my eyes, I pull it into my heart space. because that feels good to me. Now, some people will call it energy,
You like that?
you know, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
However you feel it come in.
So I like that because that
So, yeah.
that piezo luminescence is like the light, right?
Yeah.
But the chrome part is the colors.
Yep.
So when the sun's rising, it rises with a blue hue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that blue hue actually stimulates your brain to be awake and happy and alert, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is they actually started using blue light. That same
Color therapy.
What's that called? Not ray color spectrum. It's the way
The blue light, how it travels.
Yes, it's the dang it, whatever it is. But basically, that specific hue, they put that light underneath coffee tables and around nursing homes, and they found that like the nursing home like woke up, and suddenly, and I think they got rid of like 97% of over medication at the nursing home through this kind of research project. But
That's incredible.
people that had Alzheimer's were just like waking up because they are in fluorescent lights, and they're in where they take the shades and everything's like they control that environment, and people's sleep schedule gets kind of messed up, and so then you're awake at night and you don't have this. And that's where third shift workers, the same thing. If you are not waking up to that light and going to bed with the light going down, that color change doesn't happen, and suddenly all your rhythms are off, and you'll see lots of depression with those patients. And again, some people can cope very well and some people cannot. And so, you know, the answer to patients a lot of times is like, well, how do I cope with this? If it's not coping, you might want to get a different job. You might want to make less money and be happier, right? It makes a huge difference. But I like your idea of like, before that, the luminescence, right? Before the light in. Because it actually goes through your eyelids a little bit too when the sun starts to come up. But to then like kind of think about what you're going to receive.
How your day is going to be.
And then open up, and then all that information is electrifying billions of neurons and going to that pineal gland to then basically like super rev that pineal gland for your intentions. I like that.
And Dr. Dispenza talks, thank you. And you explained it very well. I mean, because Dr. Dispenza talks about how to overcome yourself before you get your day started. And that is kind of one of those things where I was like, boy, that's huge. You know, he meditates for a long time. I can't get through all of his meditation. So so there's that to be thinking about. You know, when you wake up, that's how you start your day. Most people just wake up and they start thinking about their problems and the shit that they have to take care of, and the kids and the. I shouldn't have coupled those two things together, but you know, going to work, not having a job, COVID right now. I mean, there's just so much going on. Yeah. That we wake up and that's the first thing we start thinking about. And guess what that does? That's where you start you start thinking everything up in here. And once you live in your cerebral region for, you know, and then what happens is it starts getting ingrained, and all those neuron firings, whether it's good or bad, are going to go and tell your body how to feel. Yeah. And what he talks about, and I've experienced myself, is that once you get that in a pattern, it's hard to get rid of. But when it's a pattern, you can be just walking along having a zippity-doo-dah day and have a panic attack because your body's going to go anyway because it's so patterned to do it. Doesn't matter what it is. So you have to really take that into consideration, that how you start your day is how the day is going to go in most cases. Sure. And your body is programmed. You've trained yourself over so many years to do that because the neuron patterning takes a little while to switch that up. But boy, I'll tell you what, when you make a decision, it changes everything. Yeah, and when you have passion behind that decision, of course. And I always tell patients all the time, you know, your best day and your worst day is the same damn day, right? It's what do you see? And why make it a bad day when you can just make it a good day? Right. And you know choose happiness. It seems very contrite to tell people. Yes.
And it seems almost
not
like
always easy.
you're dissing them or talking shit to be like, hey, why don't you just choose happiness? But it really is that simple because it's your perception. And so, like, the idea of, like, the average American has 60,000 thoughts a day, 90% of those are negative. Most people wake up with, oh my God, I have to wake up again. I can't wait till the weekend. And, like, that sense of, like, it is not Mondays that suck. It is not the week that sucks. It is not your job that sucks. It is not other people that sucks. You suck, right? My mom used to say, if you're bored, then nothing is boring. There's only boring people, right?
Right.
And so that's the reality is, go make your own happiness.
Yep.
Find a reason why you want to get up every day. Find the joy in your life because the world's a very beautiful, wonderful place. And I remember years and years of just being like everybody else where I'm just like, can't wait till the weekend. I hate Mondays. I can't wait till vacation, right? Or like a lot of people are like, I'm going to suffer till I retire, right? Yeah, that's great. That's a wonderful life.
Right.
But
right.
then I also remember the time where I started waking up just with a smile and just with peace. And I remember I actually opened the curtains and wake up. And so when that light comes in, I just kind of lay there and I just kind of smile and I'm just like taking things in and like, oh, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's great. Even on cloudy days, I'm like, oh, great, rain. I love rainy
need rain.
days.
I like cloudy days because when I have the lights on in the house, it's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's because you got a pretty house. Got a pretty place.
Thanks.
So, but you know, you
Yes.
create that. And so
You
that
create
starts with that pineal gland and that bioluminescence, that biochromatism when you first wake up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I like that.
And like I said, you know, when you wake up with that, you decide how you want your neuron patterning to go. I know this is kind of like brainiac stuff, but it's really very simple stuff. You basically are in control of how the rest of your day goes by telling your body how to feel. And that's the bottom line. But the other part of this is that you have a main chemical called DMT. Let's try to...
Can I buy that? What's this?
Oh, I forgot to put the how to pronounce it.
What is the street value
Dimethyl
of DMT? Do you know what the street value of that is?
Oh yeah, and it's also a synthetic drug.
It's
out
a
there in the
synthetic
market.
drug that people take.
And so see, if you think about it, yeah, your pineal gland. If your pineal gland, I'm going to get to this chemical stuff too, but when you mess up your pineal gland and you get like a synthetic DMT, it's just the same thing. It's just synthetic, and it's going to mess you up even more probably.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
You make this happy ass hormone, but if you choose not to be happy and you kind of see that life sucks all the time, then you go down to the alley,
Downtown.
right? And you talk to Jeffrey, who's sleeping in the alley, about getting some DMT. You know Jeffrey, right?
I don't
and
know Jeffrey.
you get that, and like you just give him a cheeseburger, right? And then he'll give you the DMT, and then you can just artificially take a chemical for what your pineal gland just makes on its own to cope with the fact that you just don't start out your day right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And think about this too.
Jeffrey.
We're going to get into why. Why I know we don't have like a whole lot of people on here yet, but if you're watching this show later on,
They're always watching later on.
yeah, we always have like tons of people watch the show later. Maybe we should switch days.
No, we're not switching days.
No. Okay.
Tuesday is piezoelectric day. People are just lazy. They don't want to sit and watch it.
Piezoelectric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the DMT train of thought. I want you to think about, what do you think? Just go ahead and pop it on there. What do you think causes the lack of DMT? Or
Shift work.
what
No.
causes the pineal gland? What causes the pineal gland to not work properly? Okay, we talked about one already. We talked about thoughts and how, immediately we're telling our body to, you're all messed up. So So think about, let's see if I can come down here and see it. Is anybody put it on there? Stress and negativity. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you want to just jump over into that one?
No.
Okay, no?
What about stress and negativity?
Because we still have, well, I was just going to have them start writing on there.
Oh, you're talking about those things.
Chemicals in food. Look at
Yes.
you. Oh, you got it.
Jennifer knows too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica. Okay, so the DMT.
What did I say?
What?
Did I say Kimberly?
Jessica. It's Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica and Christine.
We're pretty far away from
Really?
the camera today.
It's like a
so-
mile away. We don't have
I
bad
know.
eyesight. It's just a mile away.
So tell me, do y'all like these glasses?
Put the robo glasses
And I
on.
can't see it all over there, but
Maybe, here, let me see your glasses.
no, they're just readers.
What if I just add your glasses to my glasses?
Okay.
Holy crap, I can see. I can see it all the way to there. Okay.
Oh, Lordy.
Dude,
okay.
that's amazing.
Can you see it now?
That's awesome. I can see all the way over there and I can read it.
Okay, well, you're in.
The pixels in here, like this is like 3D.
I want to show you how to pronounce DMT, but DMT is easier. Dimethyltryptamine. Dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah.
Dimethyltryptamine.
You know,
Okay,
you
so
know why it's
DMT
called that?
Mm-mm.
Because it comes from tryptophan, which is an amino acid in
That's
your food.
right.
And it uses,
Tryptophan, like what's in turkey.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's it do? Ooh, right?
No, that's a myth.
Is it?
It's a myth. People eat 5,000 calories on
It's a
average at Thanksgiving.
stimulant.
And so then it all ends up in your gut, and then your blood diverts to your gut for digestion, and then it's away from your brain. So then that's why people get tired.
There you go. Well, here we are doing it to our brains again just by eating turkey at Thanksgiving.
Okay, that's amazing. I think that's right. Do these look okay together? This is like 3D. I can read
so
all the way
funny.
across there.
Okay,
I bet I can see through the phone.
I'm going to talk about that DMT. So basically, some people consider it, some scientists, some enthusiasts, whatever, they call it like something that is similar to a psychedelic experience, okay?
Yeah, what's that drug?
Well, there's a lot, I guess, but
Oh, you know?
I'm still on DMT.
Okay, yeah, no, that is DMT.
So basically, DMT creates elevated states of insight. Some people will say that this pineal gland is our connection to consciousness,
Oh, yeah.
and that goes into a whole nother conversation, and we can sometime talk about that. But basically, they consider it a lens that can help us see a wider spectrum of reality.
Yeah.
So basically, when you open your eyes and that light comes in, it stimulates the pineal gland, it starts getting all that DMT going in your system, and you're just like, what? This is awesome. Life is awesome. So we have to make sure that we're not blocking all of that stuff right away when we wake up every day.
Mm-hmm.
This is serious. And
That's why meditation's good in the morning.
meditation is really good in the morning
Yeah.
because you're kind of like in between states. You're not really activated into, regular life.
So what's
stuff.
the illegal drug that stimulates DMT?
I
They
don't
used
know.
it on the American military during the war to
I
make
don't
them
know.
fight more.
I don't know.
Do you guys know?
Does anybody know?
It's a drug that is from the 1960s. It was legal, I think, in the 1960s. And then they don't look you have fun, so then they made it illegal.
Oh my goodness.
Do you guys know what the drug is? Oh, shoot.
We are not
Okay,
going to
wait.
get very far today.
Wait. Just like prom. All right. Let's see here. Look at this. Jessica says LSD.
There you go.
See, that's right.
Whoop, whoop.
How do you know that's right?
I don't know. It sounds good.
That's like
Because
Jeff-
I said a while ago I didn't know.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, LSD.
Oh my gosh.
So your brain, your pineal gland, makes a hormone that is mimicking the same effects as LSD, and people then life sucks, so they take LSD.
Wow.
So then they can feel Like enlighten, like that. No, they take LSD so they can like
enlightenment.
tap into the enlightenment. Yeah.
Tap into that other realm, so
Right.
to speak. So
Yeah.
that is just amazing to me, and I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So at the end of this, we're gonna do LSD, and we're gonna. Did you bring your LSD?
No,
Oh.
I don't have any. Okay, thanks, Jessica. Okay, so we're gonna go back to what she said about chemicals here. I'm gonna move forward a little bit because it's already. Woo! I know. So basically, it's also, this pineal gland is lined with tissue called pineal oocytes, which is similar to the rods and the cones in the retina, which I said earlier, and some say it's a gateway to consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're going to talk about some of the negative effects. And the number one, I don't know which scientific organization said this, but the number one chemical that we ingest is fluoride.
Yeah.
That is the number one thing. It interferes with the endocrine system. It's not good. It suffocates all of that energy that surrounds the pineal gland.
So in 1934, they said fluoride is more neurotoxic than lead poisoning. And so fluoride, it's a halide. And so one of the big things is like for thyroid, it basically binds to the iodine receptors on that. That's why fluoride makes you dumb, fat, and sick.
And so it's okay to put in your toothpaste.
Yeah.
And in your water.
This is how toxic fluoride is. If you put a pea-size amount of toothpaste with the fluoride on there, on your toothbrush, brush it, and if you swallow that, a little bit of that, on your toothpaste, it says you need to call poison control.
Oh, wow.
The stuff you put in your mouth, if you accidentally swallow a little bit, it is so highly toxic, you have to call poison control.
There you go.
Why the hell are we putting that in our mouth in the first place, right?
I don't use it. I don't use anything
Yeah,
with
so you get fluoride free.
Fluoride free.
So that fluoride, so then we get fluoride treatments, we get fluoride toothpaste, fluoridated mouthwash, and fluoridated tap water.
And you know, our city's trying to vote it in.
What?
To put it in our
They
tap
fought
water.
that before.
I think it's been a while, but
Newton has it in theirs. Yeah. But that means it literally, and I believe it'll crystallize the pineal gland, which then changes, again, your circadian rhythm for every other hormone, every other neurotransmitter.
You're going to be sick and you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And hopefully nobody here uses fluoride. So,
what's the next
another
toxic
one? Aluminum, artificial sweeteners, processed foods, chemicals.
Yeah, aluminum is a big one.
Yeah.
So like those eco non-stick coated pans, those are anodized, which are aluminum. You have aluminum cans, aluminum, those bubbly drinks, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Now they're lined with bisphenol A, which is horribly estrogenic and neurotoxic to us too. But that aluminum, like aluminum foil, don't be using that stuff. Use parchment, non-wax parchment paper.
I need to throw it out, don't I?
No aluminum cookie sheets.
This stuff, all of that stuff that I just before mentioned, artificial sweeteners, processed foods, and like chemicals from chemical plants, our vehicles, stuff we spray on our grass, you know, it's all of that.
Yeah.
This causes neurological disorders, Parkinson's, ADHD, everything that we're having trouble with in our world right now. Not so much in other countries, but in our country.
Yeah.
This creates a whole dynamic that if your pineal gland is suffocated by whatever case scenario, you're not living life as healing or generous or nurturing as we're capable of, because that is, and in some cases, some people will say that is your connection to God. So there's really no reason to overlook this. This is, our pineal gland is like everything. It's our connection to everything. They also say that sometimes when people have life or death experiences, or near-death experiences, which I have had, and I never really understood it until I started studying this, that you can actually see a band of light, which is exactly what is happening in your pineal gland and the information that comes in through the third eye. So that's basically your connection to the astral world and the physical world. And I guess I have experienced that.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
That's
It's really cool. But I didn't really understand it, but they call that third eye, that the third eye has, the pineal gland, the third eye has photoreceptors.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just floored by this.
What's the pixels of that?
I don't know. Consciousness is guided by light. On some levels, in some religions, they call it the sixth chakra, and that is the pineal gland, and that, like I said, thousands of years ago, the Egyptians knew about that.
Yeah.
They knew about the third eye. They knew about the sixth chakra, and it placed it right there. I don't know. It's just amazing to me. But this silver cord that connects us to astral body or physical body is really, it just floors me. Some of the things that some of the scientists will say, or some university studies or something like that, will talk about the changes in the sun over the last 20 years, 10 to 20 years, that's causing our planet to have an awakening. Some university studies are saying that the anionic ratio change is causing hallucinations. So there's a lot of imbalance in information as far as what's really happening, like the sun that's got all those flares and stuff like that, that's causing a lot of changes on the planet, which makes sense because our planet's not used to those solar flares, and things are changing. And then, of course, some people say that all of that is causing the pineal gland to awaken and for us to be more aware. So there's a lot of information out there that everybody's looking into. There's different perceptions of how all of that's,
ties together.
How it all ties together. There's also something called alpha waves.
Yes.
Do you know about the alpha waves?
Alpha's awake.
Alpha's awake.
Yeah. So for that, brainwaves?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and what you were talking about earlier with the moon and the sun,
right,
and how everything is interconnected with that.
So alpha waves are awake. Beta waves are kind of like, awake. Kind of when you're kind of laying in bed and you kind of hear stuff and you're kind of almost awake. And then delta wave is deep sleep. And then theta waves are just really kind of like when you're a kid, you have theta waves. Typically, we don't maintain those, I believe, after childhood. But that regulation of alpha waves is what makes you awake during the day, right? So your brain, you have lots of this electrical activity that's taking place based on light. And what's funny is I used to be like a night owl. Like I used to believe I was more creative at night. And then they actually on NPR Science Friday, they were talking about that kind of myth that people are more creative at night. And they found that most of the authors and the artists and all that actually get up early in the morning. And that's when they're most creative, because that's actually when your cortisol is the highest. Did you know that? It's 3 a.m. And then, so 6 a.m. is still really high, and then it goes down, and then you go to sleep. But, so cortisol is really high, but in a healthy high way. And then also, your alpha waves are the most active. So really, that giving up that idea of like, oh, I'm more active at night, or more productive, and really trying to switch that to morning, you might notice that you are amazingly more creative because you're tapping into that effectiveness of what the pineal gland is designed to do.
And that's why meditating in the morning is really healthy too, because you're still in that state where everything's fresh and your body is just awakening up. Did you hear that?
Hey, real quick, with like meditation. So, a lot of people like, oh, meditation is really difficult, so you should do it more, right? So we're all trying to live in 3 different time zones, as Scott always says. Scott Spradlin says, but it took me, so we actually met in meditation class.
Right.
And it took me, I don't know, I probably feel like 3 months or more to really feel like I knew what the hell I was doing. And like to where I could really tune out pain and other thoughts and distractions. Like there was a bunch of women in the next room or downstairs, and they were like making a ruckus. But I noticed that I would go into moments where I don't hear them at all, and then all of a sudden they would laugh, and there would be some change in their laughter, and then I'd be like, oh, they're back, and then it would disappear. Yeah. Like that meditation, it took me a while to get used to it. Because I was an old school, like rub dirt in it, just walk it off, just push your feelings down, shove all your feelings down, right? And then, till you can't anymore. And then, so if you guys do meditation, right, especially if you do it in the morning or in the night, find that if you do it in the morning, it's easier because everybody's still asleep usually if you get up early enough, and then you're the most fresh you should be, right? So you gotta create that circadian rhythm to be most optimal.
That's right.
It's okay if it's hard, because it'll be difficult for a while and then it won't be. You'll be distracted and then you won't be. But it's that active practice. But you've been doing it for a long time. Like, you're all about all this stuff. How long did it take you to feel like you were like, know what the hell you're doing when you're meditating?
Well, I do really good at short meditations. I mean,
like a minute?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
like 15, 20 minutes.
That's short?
When it goes into an hour.
What the hell are you talking about?
What we're talking about is...
I'm talking about 10 to 20 minutes is long.
Well, when you go into like an hour, when you can get to that place, there are other things that you can do within that too, where if you have some issues going on and you make the decision to change that part of your existence, then don't get up out of the meditation, no matter how hard it is, don't get up out of the meditation. Tell your body, I am not getting up until I resolve this and I get it out of my body. Yeah. So that might be a motivator in some cases. Maybe not, but that's sometimes how I get through.
We were doing 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like 20 minutes was, in the beginning it felt like forever. But once I really got good at kind of tuning everything out and just focusing on breathing, like I noticed it was like, wait, are we done yet?
Or there's also those times when you're like, ring the bell, ring the bell.
No, I was never like that. You're like that? I was always just like, I was like, did I fall asleep? This seems like too long. Is everybody awake? And I would just like open my eye a little bit and look around and be like, okay, everybody's still meditating.
Yeah, that's funny.
I thought I fell asleep or something sometimes, and maybe everybody's staring at me.
Sometimes you can get into a state of mind like that too, where you're in that sort of balance. But
unless somebody brings their daughter and their daughter eats chips out of a bag, just like noise, crunch, noise.
That was one of those things where you say, I'm not getting up until I finish this meditation.
All I did was I was just laughing so hard in my head because I was just like, this is the greatest test. This is a test.
Or the clock ticking on the wall.
Yes.
Or the phone ringing.
Can you still focus on your breath with somebody crunching chips right next to you?
That's right.
While you're meditating. That's
right. Oh, he makes me laugh. Okay, so be sure and put on there some of the other things that you think might cause interference with activating your pineal gland.
Yes.
Because we want to stimulate our pineal gland so that DMT can go through our body, and so we can start feeling happy, healthy,
I feel like
strong, and secure.
Yeah.
And that's the 4 categories for Wise Women ICT. So you got to start with getting healthy, Dr. G, stop the chemicals, stop the processed foods, do all of those things. Once you get healthy, you're going to realize at some point, and you know what, I didn't even know I was doing this. This was just my own theory. And then all of a sudden, here's Dr. G and Dr. Dispenza telling me all about this, DMT and the pineal gland and all of that.
But all this stuff.
So once you get happy, you're going to start realizing, oh my gosh, I got healthy. I changed all of this stuff. I started meditating, whatever. I get happy. You feel healthy. And once you start feeling healthy, you start feeling strong. And once you get to that strong state, you're so secure in who you are, what you do, how you make decisions, how you interact with people.
Adiva says trauma.
Hi. Yep.
No, don't lean forward.
Yep.
I have my
So
telescopic lens here.
hey, and I want y'all to tell me if you liked the intro music, because I think we're gonna do some cool stuff coming up. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's finish up right here. So what do you do?
Yeah.
What do? You
What do we do?
You realign the alpha waves. Enjoy life by sunlight, meditation, and eliminating chemicals.
Yes.
Those are the things to do.
Aluminum, pesticides, herbicides, fluoride.
Fluoride, any
Those
kind
are
of
your
chemical.
main ones. For
Artificial sweeteners, processed foods, chemicals.
Yes, artificial sweeteners.
I mean, this is causing neurological damage.
The pink, the blue, all that. It will
All of it.
mess up you and your family. Big time.
Absolutely.
Let alone they cause cancer and hormone
You know, you're not going to... I should rephrase how I'm saying that. When that happens, it's hard to be happy. It's hard to live a really good life. So make the decision, start working on that process, and really just start having a good life.
Yeah.
Because we all deserve that, and that's really what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We deserve
Absolutely.
a life worth living. And that's the reality. And I like that. That was one of the most interesting things Scott said to me was like, you know, I think he's quoting somebody else, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Chambra, Pentagram, or something.
Oh, I don't know.
They were all quoting. I'm super smart,
that much.
but I'm like hard science smart and not a bunch of authors kind of smart.
Yeah,
so then I go to this group and like everybody in there is so wicked smart. Like they're all quoting books and all this stuff. And then one time it was all in this intense conversation, and I was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like I feel like everybody's talking a language I don't know above my head. And then they asked what I thought, and so then I quoted Snoop Dogg. So
that's great.
I was like,
hey, I just want to I want to say hi, Melissa Ely. From
who's that?
Way back in Oklahoma high school. So and I grew up with everybody there. So thanks for joining us. It's good to see you.
So Jessica has a question.
Okay, so what does she say?
Can the pineal gland decrystallize? That's a good question.
Decrystallize. Well, it creates crystals. So if we're not pulling in light to stimulate it, first of all, it automatically creates the crystals. So I don't know if the chemicals or this is I need the science guy right now, but I don't know if those crystals can actually decrystallize or if their effect is not the same when you're doing the.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that out.
So that's a good question
we're
because
check that out.
Basically when you use those chemicals, they damage the tissue and then the body basically protects it by making these kind of crystal things, kind of like in situ kind of cancers. But, you know, probably if you have that, so like, you know, we always talk about the average American by the time they become overweight have 4% smaller brains. So all those chemicals that cause neurotoxicity and they prevent the neurite growth, you know, up to 3,000, 5,000, 8,000%. So then you end up with a smaller brain, but then you grow that brain back, right? So that's always there. You can always regenerate, regrow. So with the pineal gland, I'm betting if we looked at research, we could find things, published research, especially like GreenMed Info or something, where certain things are, your body's always tearing down the old and rebuilding the new, but most of us don't do anything to repair. All we do is create more damage. So at best, you want to stop causing more crystallization or damage to your pineal gland, so eliminate those chemicals, and then harmonize that kind of thing with, you know, meditation and sleep cycles and embracing that circadian rhythm. But then the other part is to say, well, are there things that can help reverse and undo that damage? So every
there is
3 to 7 years, you're constantly regenerating all your tissue. So are we going to regenerate healthier tissue or more damaged tissue?
That's
so
right. And that's a whole nother topic of conversation too, because we can talk about regrowing telomeres, because a long time ago it wasn't widely known that it could be done, and it can. We can regenerate lots of different parts of our body, and that's a whole nother topic. We don't have any more time. What were we going to say in closing?
Don't do drugs.
Don't
buy DMT from, who did we say, Jeffrey in the alley. Make your own DMT by creating a life worth living and embracing kind of happiness and changing your thought patterns and all that. So basically reading books on mindfulness, meditation, resiliency. What else? You're more well-read with that stuff than I am.
There's, like I said, there's quantum physics that come into play with this.
They ain't gonna know anything about quantum physics.
And functional medicine,
Hey, you gotta start with that.
neuroscience.
No. Those
what are you talking?
like
Epigenetics?
self-help kind of books on resiliency and how to start having healthy practices.
Oh, absolutely. There's just tons of them. Maybe next time we'll make a list.
Pima Schroden showed.
Pima. And you know what? I will get my Wise Women stuff out, because we definitely have
Pima Chodron.
We have, there's Deepak Chopra. There's just all kinds of stuff going on out there right now. There's a lot of people that. No. Hi, Gina.
Aaliyah likes. I think it's Alan Watts. We were reading that book together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So in closing, and Jessica loves quantum physics. Astral projection is my goal.
What?
Well, at some point. Unless you're talking about doing it now, like a lot.
I feel like you guys are cryptically saying you're going to do LC. No. Is that what we're talking about here?
No, I don't do any of that stuff.
You can go to Costa Rica. Well, they have medicinal mushrooms. What about that? Does that affect your pineal gland?
Probably.
In Colorado, they have medicinal mushrooms. If you guys know, let me know.
There's a video I need to watch that talks about THC and how it affects the pineal gland.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's another one. We could just talk about this all day long. We really could. Because I think my favorite thing right now is to understand how to make life better by making sure my pineal gland is happy and energetic.
Ooh. Aaliyah is pulling out the Carl Jung.
Carl Jung?
Carl Jung.
Oh, yeah. We've got...
Don't even get me started on
a lot of
heuristics, okay? We should talk about heuristics.
So we need to make sure that our piezoluminescence is happening every day. Are you ready? Are you ready for closing?
Yeah.
Piezoluminescence.
If you guys want to know, kind of give us feedback about like the next topics too.
Yep.
So this is a little bit different. Like sometimes we have people on here with a little bit different perspectives. Usually I try to hog all the conversation and nerd out. But...
No, you have been sharing alike.
All right.
So.
All right, episode 176. Thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate it. Love you guys.
Mwah.
Have a nice night.